Good evening and welcome back to my channel. I'm popping on here this evening because this is probably the third time I've recorded this. It is about the third time I've recorded it. And it's a VR to Nancy of the Crone's Intuition. She did a beautiful video this morning that really did give me food for thought. I decided to come into my little room this morning and I had a box that I wanted to paint. I actually started doing it whilst I was listening to Nancy. It was a plain white balsa wood box that I have decorated, which I'll show you in a minute. And I started painting it whilst listening to Nancy, and then decided that I would like to do a VR to Nancy's topic. And the topic was how much attention do you pay when you're out and about, to things around you when you're out and about. My first one, the recording I did, went off on a bit of a COVID rant, and we don't want that. And my second one, well, was not too much different. So, how much do we notice when we're out and about? Over the last couple of years, I have spent a lot more time on my own than I usually would. And spending this time on my own, I've gone cycling through the woods, I've gone walking along the beach, cycling from one village to another along country roads where there's no other people. And I've been lucky enough to witness the changes in the seasons. I've been lucky enough to be able to smell the sea air and feel the breeze and feel the sand between my toes on the beach. I've lain on forest floors and had forest baths. I've hugged trees. I've walked and cycled up hills and small mountains, or it felt like mountains. And I've been so acutely aware of the senses, of the smells, of the touch, of tastes and sounds, especially the sounds in nature. And that has developed quite acutely over the last couple of years, because we've had no choice but to spend this time on our own, because we have been very much in lockdown. Luckily, where we live, we can go cycling. We could go 2 miles, then 5 miles, then 10 miles, then we could go much further afield. And like the majority of places now, when we're going out and about, we have to wear masks. And I've noticed that I prefer my own company more. When I'm out and about, I notice the richness of the colours around me. I can hear and identify bird sound. I've learnt how to identify different nests in the woods. I've sat alongside streams and just listened to the water flowing. I've watched tadpoles grow and become little frogs. I have run through the woods kicking up leaves now in the autumn. Not so much run, my hips wouldn't let me run, but gone through the woods where I can't take my bike because it's now too wet, but I've kicked up the leaves like a child. And I have become more acutely aware of nature. But how aware have I become when I'm with other people? Not very aware. Like I say, I have come to enjoy my own company. I might meet a friend on the rare occasion for a coffee, or we might, one or two of us might head off to a garden centre, and we're literally there, we're all masked up, we buy what we need and we go home. Because life is so very different now that in one sense I'm using the royal we here, in one sense I've become selfish with my time because I have grown to enjoy my own company. I have grown to enjoy spending time on my interests and hobbies, and not having to explain myself, or not having to get up and dressed because I'm meeting this one or that one. I've just been me, and I've enjoyed it. But how aware am I when I'm out in society? My socialising has cut down hugely. When I'm out and about in the shops, I'll be walking along and people don't make eye contact anymore. We're all masked up to here, and all we can see is this part of people's faces. And sometimes we have expressive eyes when we're using whole face expressions, and when people have often said, Elaine, you can always tell if you don't like something or don't like something someone says because your face gives you away. And I think I can say that about my eyes too. My eyes tend to either laugh, raise in laughter, or sort of frown, and you're not seeing that in society now, because everybody's just head down and scurrying along, because people have become paranoid, become afraid of catching COVID, which is wholly understandable, especially if you have a dodgy immune system. But it's made us less aware of the needs of our fellow man. Whereas before you could see from someone's demeanour, from their facial expressions, and from the words they spoke, even if you were strangers sitting in a waiting room somewhere, whether someone's low, whether someone's feeling good, or whether it's just to pass the time of day. Human beings are sociable people, are sociable beings, but we are definitely becoming more antisocial. And albeit personally I might be noticing the changes of the seasons, the rainbows, the colours of the leaves, the colour of the sky, the smells, even the tastes, because I've taken up foraging and making beautiful pestos and salads from food that I have started growing or foraging. We're losing the ability to be a little bit more caring and considerate of our fellow human beings. Nancy gave a great example today. She was in a waiting room and waiting for something to be done with her car, and when she was sitting there, there were other people there. They were either looking down at their phone or what it was they're doing. Nobody was looking up, nobody was interacting. And it was that point Nancy went to the bathroom. She noticed the top was on inside out, or item of clothing was on inside out. Now, had people been unmasked, had people been interacting like we usually do, that would have been noticed. Okay, so someone might not have said something, but it would have been noticed. This went unnoticed. Nancy sorted out her top and returned just a nod to another person, but that was it. And that made me think, because it reflected how we all are here too. It's a strange one, You go out, you go to the shops, you get what you want, you pay for your goods and you leave, you get home quickly. There's no sort of sauntering around from shop to shop, trying on this item of clothing, or testing out that perfume, or having a look at the latest nail polish colours. Even book browsing has become an online task, and it's really sad, because I love bookshops. I could spend a week in a bookshop and not get bored. But even that's not happening. Sitting and having a cuppa over a book in the corner of a bookshop, or buying a book and going off for a coffee and sitting chatting and comparing stories, comparing your thoughts on an author. It's just not happening, because people are wary of mixing. And it's very sad, because the last couple of years have had quite a detrimental effect on people's mental health as well as people's physical health. It's affected social interaction. It's affected people on so many different levels. And it's now that we're coming out of all these sort of lockdown restrictions that we're seeing this kind of help, that's this kind of effect. You know, we can't really tell anymore if Joe Bloggs sitting over there is at his wit's end, because it's as though people have stopped caring. It's not that people have stopped caring, it's just that everybody's so mindful of looking after themselves that we have almost become not mindful of other people. I don't like to use the term selfish or uncaring, but you know, it's just sad. Sometimes I look around and I feel like we're living in like scenes out of Mad Max. You know, you see some things. I've had to stop watching some things on YouTube. People have started posting up every time you go on YouTube. I just tend to go onto TarotTube or onto my own channel, pop up my stuff. But you can look up and, you know, you can be browsing through YouTube, something might pop up and it's somebody's filming somebody else having a complete freak out, having the meltdown from hell. And these people are being labelled this new phenomenon of Karens. What is wrong with these people? Life is hard enough without making it harder. They're not noticing the positive around them. They're picking up on sometimes imagined negatives. You know, picking on people because they don't look like they belong in that area. It might be in an affluent area, and because of the colour of a person's skin, they're going, help, help, he attacked me, and only for the grace of God that person has a camera. Sometimes I thought, is this put on? But no, it's not. There's an ugliness in some aspect of society in some people, and that's what I'm noticing, and that's what I'm finding very disturbing. I'm finding if people can act like that, imagine if some of these people have filmed the behaviours of these women who have been christened Karen, and that's such a shame as well, because I have some lovely friends whose names are Karen and they are the nicest people in the world, so I think it really is an abuse of that name. But these people, I don't know, were they hatched in a laboratory somewhere? Because I would want to see the blooming parents they come out of if that's the way they're treating other people. It's actually scary. And some of them might have mental health issues that are going unchecked, and being alone in COVID has turned them so paranoid, so afraid of Joe Bloggs that's walking down the street, that they're ready to go batshit crazy on them. So I've had to stop watching them because I found them very depressing. And I also found not just depressing, it used to rile and anger in me, and it would put me in a bad mood. So I think, well, what right has that person got to treat anybody, regardless of your race, creed or colour, in the way they do? It's vile. And that's what I'm noticing in society. And there's a less pleasant air when you go out mixing with people. There's a less welcoming air, and I'm finding that I'm wishing we could go back a couple of years to when people were behaving fairly normally. Sometimes I feel that we're overlooking the beauty in each other. I'm acutely aware of the beauty in nature and in the countryside and in my little bubble. And I've got to the point where I don't like stepping out of that comfort zone, because I just feel there's so many crazies out there. There are so many people who are ready to take the, well, to use a biblical term, the splinter out of my eye instead of taking the log out of their own. And it's creepy, it's scary, and it's not the world that I've grown up to love and enjoy and cherish. You know, we've got people blaming people for, you know, that generation's responsible for this generation's responsible for that, but they're not looking at what here and now. Why can't we just all work together? Why can't we just work together and make this world a beautiful place? Because everybody wants to be the leader, and nobody wants to be, you know, someone who listens. Everybody wants a word. Everybody wants to put their point forward and not listen and discuss. And that's another thing, the talent and the gift of being able to discuss and debate a topic. You know, if your opinion doesn't agree with, say, if person A's opinion doesn't fit in with person B's, instead of it being a healthy debate, it becomes a name-calling, unpleasant war of words. So that stops people interacting too. And I find it very sad. I find it extremely sad. We're living in a very different society, and it's not always a nice society. And I'm going to try and be nicer. I'm going to try and be as kind to people as I was before all this went down. Because I don't take up the opportunities to be kind, because I tend to stay in, and I tend to just enjoy being in my haven. I love it, in fact. COVID, in one sense, did me a service in the fact that it gave me chance to find me, to find peace and quiet, to indulge myself in my hobbies and my interests, and to find that I really do love nature and life, but I don't always really love a lot of people, because I think we've become less tolerant of people, we've become less tolerant of each other, and it's very, very sad. We need to work on our patience, and I think we've got to sort of check and excuse me, if we've nothing nice to say, then let's not say anything. Instead of tearing people apart, let's take more notice. I would like to be taking more notice and paying more attention to the words that come out of my mouth, that they're not hurtful, that they build people up rather than knocking people down. And I hope it's something that can be adopted by many of us, and try to get this world back on its feet again. So, do I pay attention when I'm out and about? Yes, I do, but I don't pay the attention I should do to the needs of others outside of my home. And I used to, but because I've become sort of a little on the reclusive side, I tend not to anymore. But I think I need to get back to that. So, Nancy, thank you for giving us food for thought. And just to show you, the other video that I started, I might put a little clip at the end of here, just to show you the box I was working on, but I did say I would show you the finished product. This is still drying. So this is what it looks like now. It's a little bit on the messy side. I've just put loads of bits of gold all over it, trying to get it to look sort of old and used and battered. And I didn't want it all pretty and nice. It's just blodged on. I used my finger to just pop the paint on. I've used acrylic paints. I've used another furniture sort of polish like paint for the gold. I've used gold leaf along here. Now the paint I've used, the acrylic, is purple, but then I put another coat over it that gives it sort of a bit of a sparkle. Okay, tiny little sparkle. It gives it a gloss. And then I put a gel gloss over the paper so that it doesn't come off once it's all dry. We've got some little gems in the centre of the flowers here, and some, I don't know if you can see, the light will pick up on the the sort of sparkly little bits in the pink. And all here you can see, there you go, down here you can see it there, the way the light catches it. So I now need to find a use for the box. It's not everybody's cup of tea, it is messy, but I like it. I like that messy look, and I've sealed it shut with the stuff I've put on, so I just need to get that off there. There we go. It's opened. I've broken that seal on it, thank goodness. So that's the inside. So what am I going to put? What I might put in here? I'm going to put all my oils in here. There's 2 of them. What are these 2? Christmas blend. That's my cinnamon oil that I light and put in my burner, and my lemongrass. Have I got much lemongrass left in there? No, I haven't. I need to buy new lemongrass. I won't be able to get that one. I got that one in Bali when I was in Bali 3 years ago. Have I got much left in my Christmas one? A little bit. That needs replacing too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll get all my little oils. I'm going to put them in this box. So there's 2 of them in. I just saw this in the shop and I thought, oh, I quite like that. And there we go. That's it. That gold does shine nicely, doesn't it? Gold leaf. That's gold paint, and then we've got the gold leaf on the sides. So, a bit messy, but colourful. It just suits this room. And I'm going to pop that up there. So, that's that. Thanks for joining me, thanks for listening, and Nancy, thanks for giving me something to think about today. Take care, have a lovely weekend. I'm going to go now and get my PJs on, put my feet up and watch a movie. Have a lovely weekend, people. Bye now.